And hey there, it's me Mudlink, and welcome to a brand new Let's Play. So today we're going to be starting Professor Layton and the Curious Village. So, I fucking love this franchise, as you guys may have heard from when I talked about the new game announcement for the Direct. I was so very happy to finally see Professor Layton coming back. And surprised it even came back because of a certain game in the series that I don't want to ever talk about again. Never. Not even gonna play it on the channel. No, never. Just never. Never. I don't want to talk about it. Plenty of videos already talk about it. I'm not gonna talk about it, also because I fucking hate it. So, the first trilogy. This is probably the weakest of the first trilogy, but I mean, it makes sense. It's the first game. It's still pretty damn good, though. People are mixed about the second trilogy. I love the second trilogy personally, but I do see why people have issues with it. And a lot of those issues, so people have a lot of issues with it. I still love it though. And just the crossover and a certain other game I don't want to talk about are definitely the worst part of this franchise, but I mean, in any case, we just get started. And I got a Discord message from Daniel. God damn it. Yeah, it's because Wargroove 2 got announced. So he's definitely happy about that. Still get around to playing the first game. Well, not like it matters anymore. The game's fucking dead. Okay, let's enter our name. So this sucks because you gotta draw in your name for this game. I'm gonna go the long way. God. Yeah, it can be pretty picky. There you go. Do the D like that. There you go. And perfect.
The things we saw that day in the village became a secret we would have to keep from everyone for the rest of our lives. Because, you see... I don't understand, Professor. Why are we going to help solve an inheritance dispute?
Luke, my boy, do you really think I would take on such an ordinary request as that? Oh no, this is an altogether unique and exciting situation, and it has piqued my intellectual curiosity. But I suppose it would be best to explain the case before we arrive at our destination. 2 months ago, Baron Augustus Reinhold passed away. Shortly after his death, his will was disclosed. The contents of it were fascinating, to say the least. The Reinhold family treasure, the golden apple, is hidden somewhere within this village. To whomever successfully locates this treasure, I offer the whole of my estate. Naturally, those who attended the reading of the will immediately set out in search of the golden apple. But in the end, everybody came back empty-handed. It turns out that no one had even heard of such a treasure existing, until its mention in the will.
Wow, that's some puzzle, all right.
Quite. Augustus Reinhold staked his entire fortune just to create one more puzzle before his death. What a perplexing individual. I wish I could have met him while he was still alive.
It certainly sounds like you two would have gotten along, Professor. By the way, just what is this golden apple anyhow?
Some speculate it's a rare antique, while others say it could be a gem, yet its identity remains elusive. But Luke, I can't shake the feeling that this matter is linked to some larger mystery, something huge.
Aha! Is that your famous intuition acting up again, Professor?
Well, our first step is getting to town.
This is all so exciting. I hope St. Mystere is ready for the famous archaeologist and puzzle-solving detective, Herschel Layton.
Oh, Luke, you know as well as I do that I am no detective. Augustus Reinhold's wife, Lady Dahlia, has asked me to investigate the situation. It seems she came across my name by chance when reading an article about me in the papers.
And you immediately decided to take her up on her request, huh?
Oh, well, Luke, a true gentleman never refuses the request of a beautiful lady.
If you say so, Professor.
We should be nearing the town by now. Look at the map in the envelope and help me with directions.
You got it. What in the... What's this?
Lady Dahlia seems to have given us a test. We'll need to decipher this map in order to find the village. She wants to see if we're capable of cracking the mystery surrounding the Reinhold fortune. Care to give it a go, Luke?
I'll do my best. A puzzle like this should be a snap for the apprentice of the great Professor Layton.
Very well then, Luke. I'll leave this one to you. Think of it as a warm-up for things to come.
So yeah, there's our first puzzle. I love the little, like the charming atmosphere already. So yeah, here's puzzle 1. So picker rats are here. They're useful for something later in the game. We're gonna get 100% of that. We're gonna get all the picker rats, so don't worry about that. You lose picker rats if you make mistakes. Also, no hints will be used. So yeah, for this one, they draw a circle around the answer. So, my village is on a road that leads to no other towns. I look forward to seeing you there. Use your stylus to draw a circle around the right village and then touch submit. So, there's only 3 paths you can go down with the car, so you just have to use process of elimination. So you go to the left, you see you can go to this town, but then you can also go to this town as well. So it's not the left path, nothing on the left path. You go on the upper path, it's the same issue. So that only leaves this one.
Well, here's my guess. Layton's apprentice saves the day.
I love those little voice lines. That's correct. The only town that isn't connected by roads to another town is the one in the upper left area of the map. It looks like you're all ready to start solving puzzles.
There we go. Now we should be able to make our way to the village.
Right you are. We should see it on the horizon any moment now.
Huh? Professor, do you mean to say you already figured out the town's location?
I'm afraid I couldn't help myself. A basic puzzle like that is easy enough to solve with a glance. Anyhow, you'd best gather your things, Luke. We've arrived.
The song is way too fucking good. Interesting. It appears that this drawbridge is the entrance to the village. I'm still really bad with British voice acting. And we're stuck on the outside. What should we do, Professor? Hey, look over there. There's a man standing on the other side of the river. Maybe he can help us. See it? I didn't even know you can tap on yourself. It appears that this drawbridge is the only way in or out of town. Good day, sir. We'd very much like to gain access to the village. Could you please drop the bridge for us? Do I look like this ought to go dropping the bridge for a bunch of fancy-looking outsiders? Mph. You got a lot of nerve. We've received a letter of invitation from Lady Dahlia. I don't suppose that changes things, does it? From Lady Dahlia? Well, then I'd sure like to lower the bridge for you, Mr. Fancy Pants, but the engine is busted, and I can only move this blasted bridge with the hand crank. Humph. There's all these infernal slots I could put the crank in, and I got no clue which one to use. Humph. So smart guy, you got an idea which one's the right one? See, I got another puzzle. If you ever see an exclamation mark, 9 times out of 10, it's gonna be a puzzle. So this one's worth 50 pickers. Puzzle number 2, the crank in slot. There's no way to lower the bridge and get across without inserting the crank into the correct slot. Choose the slot that fits the crank shown below. So you can change the angle like this. This is the easiest angle to check it out at. So this one is another process of elimination. So you can see it's a pentagon. So this number 3 is out since you can see it's 6 sides. And you can see that the triangle isn't on one of the edges. It's in between. So
That should do it.
yeah. Puzzles like this are simple at first, but then they do get harder in this game. Nice job. Now drop that bridge. I'll do it. Hold on a second. I'll let her down. I'm going to say it again. I just don't feel right about letting outsiders into St. Moustaire. But if you're Lady Dahlia's guest, I guess I'd better. At least give her my regards, you hear? Yes, we finally arrived in St. Moustaire. I'm so excited. I wonder what mysteries await us here. Well, Luke, we'll find out soon enough. Just be careful not to let your excitement cloud your ability to analyze your surroundings. I say, Luke, this is a perfect time to explain how to move about during our investigation. Give that shoe-shaped icon in the lower right portion of the touchscreen a tap with your stylus. After you do this, a set of arrows will appear on screen. Tap pointing ahead in that direction. So remember, when you want to move, just tap the shoe. Go on then, give it a try. So you can move back or you can just move forward. But before you do that, you can talk to this strange man. What a fine dandy set of fellows you two are. Must be new to say Mr. A. I'm stashing scarfing. And I've got some advice for you. I know that's almost like a German name, but I am not doing a fucking German accent. Absolutely not. Thank fucking God I did not tackle the original Ace Attorney trilogy. Because I would not want to do not only a German accent, but a woman German accent. Go tap that barrel back there with your stylus. Don't ask questions, just do it, my duckies. There you go, a hint coin. We're going to find all of those. Felt good, didn't it? Around these parts, that's what we call a hint coin. When you find yourself up against a doozy of a puzzle, you want a hint. Trust me on this one, fellows. And it's just those times when you want to use a hint coin to purchase the hint. I bet you think puzzles will be a breeze now, eh? Think again. There are a limited number of hint coins in this world, so don't go wasting coins on any old riddles. Because if you do and you come across a real stumper, you'll be sorry. Real sorry. Mind you, hint coins would always be stuff inside barrels. Check any object that seems suspicious. Got all that? Good, be seeing you around. So yeah, in pretty much every screen, there's going to be hint coins that you can find. So, for instance, the barrel over here. And then there. A little tiny spot there above the shoe. All those little suspicious nooks and crannies. Yeah, we can't. I don't think shit to the Reinhold Manor, Professor. Yeah, you can go into some buildings by clicking on the door, but we can't do that quite yet. I'm gonna talk to this old woman first. Oh, hello. Pleasure to meet you. Welcome to St. Star Wars. Local export is the puzzle. Oh, before I forget, you should know that every time you solve a puzzle, you earn a set number of pickerats. The more pickerats a puzzle is worth, the tougher the puzzle will be. They say lovely things happen when you gather enough pickerats. Imagine that, a reward for solving puzzles. For practice, try this little riddle that your hat reminded me of. Think good and hard before you answer. Puzzle number 3, strange hats. You can tell this is going to be a super easy one. These 4 top hats are all the same height, and but the length of each brim is different. In other words, the hats are equally tall but vary in width. One of these 4 hats has a brim and height that are the same length. Which hat is it? So, this one, once again, process of elimination. So you can see B is too small, D is too large. So it's between C and A. And what you can easily do is just, tilt your head. Tilt one, imagine tilting one to to stand up, see if it lines up right, or just use a ruler. I'll just tell you right now, it's A.
There we go. Every puzzle has an answer.
That's right, this is a very famous optical illusion. An optical illusion is the visual phenomenon where your eyes perceive things differently than they actually are. There are dozens of known optical illusions. What's the world coming to when you can't even trust your own eyes? Oh, bravo. I think you've got the hang of this. If you try your options one by one, you'll eventually find the answer. However, you'll also encounter lots of puzzles that can't be solved by simply trying all the answers. If you answer incorrectly, the pickerats you earn from a puzzle decrease. Tough stuff, Goes to show you how important it is to think for yourself and find the answer on your own. Well then, best of luck to you. I'll be rooting for you too. And now we can move forward. I've been thinking, Professor, shouldn't we be keeping a record of our investigation? You've brought up a very good point, Luke. Let me explain how to go about saving your game. First, tap your stylus on the chunk in the upper right corner of the touch screen. This chunk contains all manner of information that you can access by tapping the icons. Touch the icon marked Save to save your game. Sorry, still a little tired. Tap the journal icon to read over notes about our adventure in St. Mystère. Next we have the puzzle index icon. Tap it to view all the puzzles you've encountered. Puzzles you've solved have a check next to them. Puzzles you've seen but haven't solved are blank. You can retry any puzzles you've solved from this screen. To retry puzzles that you haven't solved yet, you must return to the actual site of the puzzle. Don't be afraid to use the items in the trunk to help our investigation. It'll be second nature soon enough. Enough explanation for now, let's make our way to Reinhold Manor. See the top screen here, yeah? An arrow marks our path on the map, so all we need to do is head in the correct direction. Lead the way, Professor! So now we can officially start Chapter 1. Reinhold Manor awaits. Make your way to Reinhold Manor on the east side of town. We don't need to save our progress quite yet. Shit. Well, that's not a place you can even enter yet. Let's talk to this guy. Shit. Talk to the barrel there. Yeah, there's a 13 coin. Oh, hello. I'm Percy, St. Mystere's unofficial writer in residence. Reinhold Manor, you ask? Head up that road to the right. It's immense, but you'll know it when you see it. But before you go, why not try your hand at this puzzle I thought up? See if you can figure out which house is mine from the instructions I give you. I'll even sweeten the deal for you. If you manage to solve this puzzle, I'll tell you about this village. How about it? You will try, won't you? After all, a writer is nothing without an audience. Where is my house? Go find my house. Go out the front door of my place and turn left. At the first intersection you come across, take a right. Turn right again at the following intersection. You'll come face to face with the morning sun. So the sun rises in the east, sets in the west, and is in the north when it's like the normal during the day. So you gotta remember, you gotta think of east. And then work yourself backwards. So east. So as you can see, when you try to go to any of the house, when you turn right, you always either go like every other direction except for east, except for this house here, because first intersection, turn right, and then when you go left, you turn right here, and then right here. You can't even see my fucking mouse, but you can see. You can look from where I'm pointing. You're gonna see you're gonna be facing east. Every other way, you're not gonna be facing east.
Luke, here's my answer. Critical thinking is the key to success.
That's right, this is the problem where working backward gets the job done fastest. Takes far too long to check each house individually. I check each house individually just to make sure, but that's also a good way to do it. Impressive, I thought I set out quite the puzzle, but you made short work of it. Now for that gossip I promised you. The Reinhold family owns all the land this village is built upon. I hear they own all the buildings too. I guess you could say this town sort of belongs to the Reinholds. Well, I'll be on my way now, but rest assured that the next time we meet, I'll have a harder puzzle for you to solve. Oh yeah, I forgot to go inside your trunk here. You got some new things, so you can check the puzzle index. You can retry puzzles, and I already mentioned that. Mysteries. So there's 10 mysteries for you to solve. Sorry. So here, first the golden apple. The late Baron Reinhold hid this item in St. Mister just before dying, and has promised the whole of his fortune to the one who finds it. Yet no one has any clue what the golden apple might be or where it is hidden. There are going to be times where this gets updated after a while. But most of the time, when it gets solved, you're going to see right away that it's going to be solved, because it's going to do like this little, just cool little animation. And now journal. Every once in a while, you're going to get a journal entry. A most fascinating letter found its way to me the other day. It came to me from one Lady Dahlia, widow to Baron Augustus Reinhold. Her letter details how an unusual object, known only as the golden apple, to decide how her late husband's fortune is split up. The entire matter sounds terribly interesting, and I've arranged for Luke to accompany me on a visit to St. Mister, the site of the whole incident. There's usually just like... Usually not too much of like... You know, some things you already know, but they also sometimes get extra information. So anyway, click this clock. Now we have the first of the few US exclusives. Because while there is something here too for the UK, it's completely different to how it is. It's a completely different way of solving the puzzle. That clock tower is rather worse for wear. Speaking of clocks, I've got just the puzzle for you. Admittedly, it concerns more of a modern type of clock, but never mind that minor detail. Puzzle number 5, digital digits. This one's a pretty hard one, from it being 50 picker hats, but it just takes longer to solve. So for this one, imagine a digital clock like the one shown below. How many times will the clock display 3 or more of the same number in a row over the course of one day? In case you were wondering, the clock in this puzzle displays time on a 12-hour scale, not a military time. So that would be 3 in a row. So it's either the first 3 digits or the second to the 4th digits. Have to all be the same. So now one you can easily work out the first 5. So, 111, 222, etc. Then you gotta realize, oh, also, forgot to mention, 0000 doesn't count because this goes on PM AM, and alarm clocks never show 0000 when it goes on the AM PM thing. When it does 12 hours instead of the full 24. So it won't count for this puzzle. So take that out of your head. Then of course, you got 10 o'clock, 11:10, 11:11, 11:12. So all the 11s until it reaches 11:19. From 11:10 to 11:19. So that's 10 right there. 10:10 is 1 as well. So at that point you're gonna have 16, and then 12:22, and that's it. But you gotta remember, it's gonna end up getting wrong if you just put 17, because it goes off AM PM for this. We're going based off the 12-hour format. So you gotta do 17 times 2, which is 34. Yeah, I do 4 like that because sometimes it doesn't, like, I'll show it's, I don't know how consistent it is. Yeah, it's consistent like that for me.
Well, here's my guess. Layton's apprentice saves the day.
Very good. A series of 3 or more of the same digit appears 34 times over the course of 24 hours. See the chart above for details. It's easy enough to spot times like 111 or 222, but many people forget about combinations like 10 o'clock or 11:12. I'll link in the description anytime there's a difference between the UK and US version. And the UK version is based off clock hands. I've never done it myself, so I can't really give you like the right answers for it. And I kind of don't feel like solving it in my head, so you'll just see in the description how people solve, how it's solved. Precisely the answer I was looking for, Luke. Well done, my boy. I guess it means like they were still digital clocks weren't really big in the UK, so they decided to. So you do like the clock hands, or maybe it's the opposite, where we don't really use like the clock. We don't really use like the old school clocks anymore, so we use digital. So that's why they had decided to have that difference. I don't know. By the way, it is interesting that there are different puzzles between the two areas. Alright, let's move to the right. Professor, look at that man standing in the street. He's blocking the path up to Reinhold Manor. How terribly rude. Perhaps he'll move for us, but I have a feeling he has no intention of doing anything of the sort. So there's our first hidden coin, second hidden coin, and third hidden coin there. So there's going to be a maximum of 3 hidden coins you find in every screen. There's 190 to find in total, and we start off with 10, so in total by the end you're going to have 200 hidden coins. Talk to him, and yep, there's another puzzle. Hold up. Never seen you two here before. What's a couple of fresh faces like yourselves doing here? We're here by invitation of the Reinholds. Now if you'll excuse us, we have business through the gate. Business of the Reinholds, is that so? Something strange here. Yeah, you're a fishy pair. I feel like this voice is just gonna be used so many times. It feels like the same voice for shady guys. Fucking British voices, man. I don't trust you, that's for sure. But I'll let you pass if you can solve this riddle. See? Just to warn you, it's a tough one. It isn't gonna be easy. Is it? No way. Definitely not gonna be easy. Guess I don't need to make them all British, but at the same time, I kind of feel like it because it's Professor Layton. Anyway, puzzle number 6, lightweight. So this one's 40. We have 8 small weights that all look the same. However, one of the weights in the group is slightly lighter than the rest. Using the scale 2 times, you can find out which of these weights is lighter than the rest. So which one's the light one? Just do save state just in case. Jesus, I have save states from 2017 on here. So there's a few ways you can do this. What I do is you have to drag and drop, and then whenever right answer you have, you put it in here. I just put first 4 here. And then we can see. So it's in the 1, 2, 3, 4 group. So it's between 1 and 2. And I kind of fucked it up with there because you kind of just have to guess. So I'm going to guess, and I don't want to lose any picker rats.
There we go.
And the answer is different every single time you do it, yeah, so. Whoopsie. You guys will see how I failed it.
There we go.
And it's just different every time you click restart, so don't even bother with that. So right, to solve this puzzle with no guesswork, you must load 3 8s on each side for the scale for your first measurement. If you manage to get that far, the rest is easy. Don't try to do 3. Because it doesn't give you all, it's not all of them, you know, you can't really, if it just ends up weighing the same. Actually, no. Well, no, it would give you, okay, if it's 4 or 8, then you have instant chance right there, but if it's one of those guys, then you'd have a harder time. That's what's difficult about this one. You know that pretty sharp bunch, aren't you? And a pair of good sharp apples, the two of you. So if we satisfied you, may we pass now? Of course you can pass. Move along, you better make sure to give my regards to Lady Dahlia. Alright, let's move forward. This fucking guy here, so a hint coin there. Hint coin there, and hint coin here. And now I can talk to this guy. Oh, I just realized what puzzle's coming up. And who just might you be? My name is Layton, and this is my assistant. We've received an invitation to visit Reinhold Manor. Oh, yes. We've all been expecting you, Professor Layton. But you have to excuse my skepticism. Can't trust anyone these days, you know. For all I know, you could just be another hooligan in a top hat. So how do I know you're the real Layton? Did you hear that, Professor? The nerve of this fellow. Surely aren't you going to go through with this after an insult like that? Now, Luke, settle down. So, are you saying that you'd like to test, see if I am the real Professor Layton? Precisely, Professor Layton. Now, if you don't mind, would you please solve this puzzle for me? Fucking hate that stupid little dialogue. He's who's fucking stupid sounding. Yeah, 50 picker rats here. I fucking hate this type of puzzle. You have to do this one a few times in this game. Get the 3 wolves and 3 chicks seen below to the other side of the river while obeying the following conditions. No more than 2 animals can ride the raft at the same time. There must be at least 1 animal on the raft in order for it to move. If more wolves than chicks stay on either side of the river, the wolves will eat the chicks and you have to start over. You can move the raft as many times as you like, but this feat can be accomplished in as few as 11 moves. There are certain times where that's not going to be the case, where you have a limited amount of moves. But for this one, they decided to be lenient with you. So, I have the notes written down for how to solve each puzzle. And, you know, a little insight in how to solve them as well. So you just drag and drop on here. What you do is put 2 wolves there, and then you put 1 here. Then you bring 2 wolves here, and bring 1 back. Then you put 2 chicks. And then 1 wolf, 1 chick. Then you put 2 chicks. Then bam. Then bam. Then bam.
That should do it. Critical thinking is the key to success.
Well then, this puzzle can be solved in as few as 11 trips. How many trips did it take you? Fun fact time. There are several variations of this type of river crossing puzzle. And I just realized, fuck, I didn't read the rest. Who cares? Oh, do excuse my earlier rudeness. Let me show you to the manor. Everyone's waiting for you. Everyone? I was under the impression that Lady Dahlia was the only person expecting me. Right this way, please. Anyway, before you move on, there's a puzzle in the bushes. Yeah, sometimes in the environment, you have to click around because you'll find, just like with the clock tower before, you'll find a puzzle that you wouldn't think would be there. But you don't have to worry about missing puzzles. Wow, look at all those flowers. They sure are pretty. Indeed they are. I'm sure someone put a lot of work into raising them. Oh, that reminds me. Would you like to hear a puzzle about raising flowers? You bet, Professor. Let's hear it. Puzzle number 8, farm work. This one's this one is like the easiest one. You just gotta read and you'll figure out instantly. Alfred and Roland have been hired by a farm to sow flower seeds. They've been assigned a 10-acre plot of land and split in half, so they can work independently. Roland starts from the east and Alfred from the west. Alfred can plow the land at a rate of 20 minutes per acre. Roland takes 40 minutes to plow, but sows seeds at 3 times the speed Alfred does. If sowing seeds on the 10-acre plot pays $100, how much of that money should go to Roland? Don't think about this too hard. But you answer, if you just think about it, the land's split in half, which means they both get the same amount of work. So half of 100 is a 50.
I think I've got it. Layton's apprentice saves the day.
Yeah, I'll tell you, that's right. The beginning of the problem says that the 2 men split the 10-acre plot of land in half so they could work independently. In other words, they both have the same amount of work assigned to them. Since each person did half the work, the pair gets 100 split right down the middle. Each person gets 50. Correct. Good thinking, Luke. So now you can walk up here. Is this the manor, Professor? It's positively gigantic. Just look at the size of it. It certainly seems like we've come to the right place. And bam. Chapter 1 has been completed. The Professor and Luke finally arrive at Reinhold Manor. Let's head in, shall we? Yes, sir. Same before we finish off this episode, because we don't want this to be all that long. We're just gonna get the 2 hint coins. Or we're gonna get 3 hint coins here. There we go, and then here. So, give you guys a little taste of what we've been doing. I know this. I saved slot from before. I did a recording of episode 1 and kind of fucked up with it, so I had to re-record it. Sorry about that. So with this first chapter being done, and getting a good taste of how the puzzles are going to end up being from the start, I think this is a perfect time to end it off. So next time on the Professor Layton and the Curious Village Let's Play, we're going to be heading into the Reinhold Manor and then trying to figure out, at least from there, how to solve the case of the golden apple. And it's a lot more of an interesting mystery than it lets on at first. That's a great part about this series. The mystery at first doesn't seem too big, at least for this first trilogy. Well, actually, I wouldn't say that. At least for this game. The other ones too, like certain mysteries are like, you don't think it's gonna be too big, but then yeah, it ends up being big. But this one in particular does the best when it comes to catching you off guard like that. So anyway, see you guys next time. Take care.